Remember what the Dormouse said.
No. I wasn't ready for that, and then you just started doing it. I feel ambushed.
Oh, that's fun. That's how we roll on this show.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. I'm off to recover.
Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast review of Monday Night Raw. I am Luke Owen, DAD, and I'm joined by Professor Dan Layton. Please do press the subscribe button, give us a little thumbs up button, get in your thoughts on Raw and who the White Rabbit is to WrestleTalk.com/support. And also, while you're in the mood for clicking links, why not go to beer52.com/WrestleTalk, where you'll get not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven, but eight free craft beers on us. All you got to do is pay for that sweet postage and packaging. It's £5.95, and you will get 8 delicious craft beers sent to your door, along with a magazine, an award-winning magazine, and a snack to go alongside your 8 delicious craft beers. Thank you to Beer 52 for sponsoring this podcast.
You didn't breathe in once during that whole... I'm very impressed.
Thank you very much. I have done a lot of sponsorships for Beer 52 over the years because they've sponsored us a number of times over the years. Plus, I've been a Beer 52 subscriber for 10 plus years at this point, delicious. And I love them as a brand, and you should too. It is for UK viewers only, though. We are better than you, and we drink it.
But we'll take your money.
We'll take your money nonetheless. Thank you all so much for joining us on this show, a show which could be a contentious one, Dan.
Well, because last week was chill.
Well, I know, but at least this time, you and I are broadly on the same page.
Yeah.
Because we thought this episode
was fine.
Was good. It was
fine to good.
It was fine to good.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good episode of Raw, and people have taken that to me thinking that I thought this episode was terrible, bad, and awful.
Yeah.
And as for
anything other than 5 stars is that, though.
I guess so. Like, someone in the just before this video started was like, I don't know what Luke wants from Raw.
To be entertained.
And I was like, yeah, and I want to be entertained from the show, but also, like, you need these shows. These are building block shows. For not every show can be a 5 out of 5 episode, but that's fine.
It is also when you're coming up against 3 hours. You know, it's I will say this: as long as the show is 3 hours long, it is impossible to book an engaging 5-star, all guns blazing 3-hour show every single week. Like, we have some examples of those and pay-per-views and things like that, 3 hours long of banging. But a weekly episodic narrative program at 3 hours long is inevitably a slog. You're already up against it. So fine to good is actually quite...
It's a great win.
Yeah, well done.
It's a great win.
Especially because they've been so bad.
Oh, it's been so bad.
For so
it's
long.
Such a huge step up from what we've had previously. Like, I've really enjoyed watching this episode of Raw. I enjoyed watching last week's episode of Raw, but then being like fine to good is totally fine.
It's about recalibrating the spectrum.
Exactly. We're also building to a B-level pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So we're not building to War Games. War Games. We're not building to Clash of the Castle or SummerSlam or anything like that. So we are just going to be in the lull period. And that's okay. Like, a lot of the, the big talking point of this show, or sort of the big storyline of this show, was Bayley and her crew versus Asuka, Bliss, and Bianca Belair and friends.
Yeah, the AC and friends. Yeah.
And I'm not massively into that because I've just watched that a whole bunch.
A lot. And it is finished.
Yeah. And I've also watched Ray feuding with Judgment Day a whole bunch. But they have shaken it up with putting Dominic Mysterio with their group. And actually, I thought their segment was probably the highlight of the show.
And I will say, I actually had a few little moments with the Alexa stuff. So there was enough slightly different. There was something in Bianca and friends that gave me pause.
Mm-hmm. But
we'll get onto that.
This is what I really, really liked. And I think sometimes when I judge myself on sort of like, when I judge an episode of Raw, is what is my big talking points coming out of it. So, we put together these podcast titles and these podcast thumbnails and stuff. And it's like, well, what are we talking about on Raw? And it's like, well, there's not a whole much to talk about that we haven't talked about previously. However, this item that we have got to kick things off, I think is really incredibly exciting.
It's very fun. It's very intriguing.
I cannot say enough good things about what WWE have done with the White Rabbits. I love this so unequivocally love this so much.
And it's fascinating because this is the talking point of this week's episode of the review. It wasn't even on the show.
But it sort of was.
That's the thing.
And that's what I love about this. So if you haven't been paying attention, or you've not been with the wrestling news, or you haven't seen people talk about this online, I don't blame you for that either, because it's not a huge part of the show.
Yeah.
This is this sort of like
Easter egg.
It is an Easter egg, but it's to hype up either a debut or a return or a new character,
An evolution.
an evolution, or something along these lines. And I love it's all being done through social media.
Yeah,
but
which is exciting.
Not through WWE social media. It's being done through fans' social media. So what WWE have been doing at the last few shows they've done,
the live shows,
is during a commercial break, they dip the lights down and they play White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, and they ask the fans, the people in the audience, to turn their phone lights, the torches on their phone, just like we used to do for Bray Wyatt's old Wyatt family entrance.
Classic, yeah.
And people just do it. And then what you get are people recording themselves doing this and then sharing that online, being like, we were asked to do this. They played this song and then we recorded this. What do you think this means?
Very organic.
It's completely organic, but manufactured by WWE.
It's really smart.
So smart. Because all it does is it creates this ripple effect across Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, where people are like, well, now I've got to go to the next live show so I can be part of this. And what does it all mean? And it's created a lot of fan speculation about, is it Bray Wyatt? Is it Karrion Kross? Because his old character was the White Rabbit in Lucha Underground. Was it this? Was it that? The other? And it creates a huge amount of debate. And then on this episode of Raw, they had, during a backstage segment with Austin Theory, looking at his briefcase and whatnot, I actually didn't catch this until sort of afterwards. A QR code appears on screen.
Love a QR code. It's very clever, because the thing about QR code, again, this organic thing, if you see a QR code anywhere, you're probably just going to want to see where it goes. Like, it's just a very natural thing to want to do.
Okay, maybe I'm old man here.
Oh, I do it all the time.
But if I see a QR code, I'm just like, who's scanning QR codes in 2022?
I am.
I don't have a QR scanner on my phone.
It's just your camera.
What?
Do you not have... I have an iPhone. What do you have?
I have an iPhone.
You just hold up the camera.
No.
And it's a link.
Does it really?
Yeah.
So hang on.
Granddad.
So if I go to a QR code now, I just pick up my phone.
Are you trolling me?
No, I'm not.
You're being deadly serious.
So me and my wife were at a bar in I was a market. We were in London recently by Liverpool.
Spitalfields.
Yes, we were in Spitalfields.
Geography.
And we went to a bar there, and it said like order via the app.
And the QR code.
And the QR code was there. Me and my wife spent a good 20 minutes trying to download a QR code scanner so that we could download it. And then all it took was to do with the Smegin app. I was like, I could have just got that from the App Store. And it took us.
Luke.
And in the end, I just went to the bar and placed my order.
Luke, you just open your camera and you just hold it to the QR code and it registers a code and there's a link and you click the link.
Through the camera
Through the camera app. Just the camera.
Well, I have learned something.
Am I alone? Is anyone else's mind boggling at that? How is the chat? This is too much.
Oh, okay. Well, the chat appears to all know this as well.
This is basic stuff.
I did not know this. I still thought you had to have a QR code scanner app in order to scan a QR code.
You're gonna. I'm retracting your doctorate for the next hour. Unnecessary. But let's bring it back. I got my phone out. Held it up to my telly.
And you scanned it. And it takes you through to a WWE.com link. It's called WWE.com/come with me.
Yeah.
And it plays this little video of a white rabbit jumping through a hole.
It does do that.
And then it has a hangman game.
Yep.
And the hangman game is 3 letters. And the clue is who killed the world.
Yeah.
And this little white rabbit jumps along. I thought I got to play the game.
Yeah, I did too. I was
taking along. I was like trying to type Vince.
Yeah.
Just like, the little plays a video and it goes across some letters. Some of them are right, some of them aren't. The answer is you did.
You did.
And the other letters that were selected spelled out, aside from others, demon.
Oh, I didn't see
It's like the
this.
first 5 letters that he picked were D-E-M-O-N.
Oh, that I didn't even think about looking at that.
So it's demon. So there's something like, there's another extra clue there. And then it ends with 9.23. And because Americans are backwards, you flip that round, 23rd of September.
Yeah, which is Friday.
Which is this Friday.
Yeah.
So, and apparently someone else said that they saw on Reddit that at 9:23 on the West Coast, there was someone in the crowd holding up a sign with that QR code on it.
Stop it.
Which
this is delicious. Now,
another level. And I've said again, I cannot say enough good things about this.
I loved anything where it's this level of like, it's the same thing when you're a fan. Anyone who, I think I might have mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, Lost. If you're a fan of Lost, there was a lot of little details in there, always in the background feed. Marvel fans, Easter eggs all over the place. I love an Easter egg. I love anything that is that level of intricate. So the idea that at 9:23 they had someone in the crowd holding up that QR code is so delicious. It's why even with the Loomis stuff, and actually, I now do have a question. Do you remember that first episode that Dexter Loomis was on?
Mm-hmm. Great return.
Where there was stuff going on in the background of all the shots, and then at one point, I think it was Alexa and I think it was Bianca and friends were walking down, and then like someone bashes them, and it's like, oh, okay, but then they're going to carry on and get. Oh no, it was Damage Control. It was Damage Control walking. And then a couple of weeks ago we had a car overturned, and we've like
that was the Braun Strowman thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is it. There's little bits and bobs all over the joint that is like.
And previously, and like the another great example of this is the Johnny Gargano return came off the back of, and they don't do this very often. And this is like, and I think why they did this, it was like best Instagram post of the week. And so I'm there being like, don't really care about this. Turn to my laptop, typing up some notes and stuff. Maybe I'll go check Twitter or whatnot while I look at a picture of, I don't know, someone I don't care about in NXT or whatnot. And then all of a sudden, Johnny Gargano's back. It's a way to make you as a viewer not take your eyes off the product. You constantly have to keep your eyes on things. Because I missed this Austin Theory thing. I missed this QR code. Because I just saw Austin Theory and I went to my nose, Austin Theory backstage, it's only until later on I find out this QR code thing. And that's now on me for not paying attention.
And that's great. It's anything can happen. The whole line at the beginning of the video, anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. Like anything can happen. If you want to create that idea of you can't want to miss this, you don't want to miss this. You need to be creating those moments that insist that your audience are watching.
Oh yeah,
that's really smart.
I loved it.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I thought this is really, really great. I thought the video itself was really cool.
Yeah,
and I actually so Angela Hobby Night or from Hobby Night, she was at the show last night, and she sent me a video. Like one of the first things I got this morning, she sent me a video of the crowd doing the White Rabbit thing, and like. Because they're just playing the audio as well.
And it's
like,
not the music. It's just
the music. It's just the lyric.
Yeah.
Just going around like feed your head and all of that stuff. And it's such a wicked song anyway.
When you take the music away, it actually becomes really intense because essentially she's just screaming at you, and it's very like now I have to get a little bit careful because the last time I got this hype from White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, it was for the Matrix Resurrections, and that didn't go very well. Like they used that very effectively in the trailer, and I was so into it that it was all I listened to for about a week.
But what a film!
It certainly was a film. I can say that here. I don't know. I find I'm into the speculation. I'm into the fun. I'm into the. Do you have a theory as to who? Do you think it's Karrion Kross?
I don't think it's Karrion Kross.
But it's got the little hourglass in the corner as well.
I mean, that's actually a very interesting point. Apparently, Karrion Kross has said on Twitter, like, a lot of the clues are pointing to me, but it is not me. You better tune in to find out who it is. But I know a lot of people are, like, really diving into this. It's Karrion Kross because he had a similar thing. He had to use this name in a different thing, right? Yeah, so I guess, like, a lot of people are really jumping onto it's him. If it's Karrion Kross, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Why?
Because we've already had him return.
This is true. That's the best argument I've heard against it being Karrion Kross. Because you have the White Rabbit, Lucha Underground, in the fact that it's got that tiny little timer, that hourglass, which is very much Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
And Scarlet.
TikTok. Which hourglasses don't do.
On the clock. But your body don't stop. No. Kesha. 2010. But yeah, like, so there's a lot pointing to Karrion Kross. I think the only argument I've heard against it is the fact that he's already there. Then again, it might just be a case of like affirming the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but to what end? I suppose. Like, I feel like you're going to great lengths here, and like I don't want this to sound like I'm gonna like people are gonna be disappointed no matter what happens. We're almost getting to the point now of hype where if it's not something like a Bray Wyatt or a WWE, like a big return or anything, then it'd be like, that's okay then, I guess.
A similar thing I have with Sasha and Naomi, though, is we have a way as internet wrestling fans of whipping ourselves up to believing something's happening based on very little. And then when that doesn't happen, like we have no true confirmation or belief that Sasha and Naomi are in any way coming back. Like they seem quite, apart from the occasional report here and there, but we don't have anything concrete. So when we get something and it's not what we want, it becomes it's Christian moment. You know what I mean? And so there's a little worry that we're so excited about Bray Wyatt and it's not Bray Wyatt. The thing itself still might be really cool and interesting, but we may not give it time because we've already decided it's going to be Bray Wyatt. So I always like to try and dampen ourselves.
That's exactly it. Christian Cage is the greatest example of this because AEW overhyped themselves to be like, it's a Hall of Fame class, and I was like, oh my God, there's going to be some huge name coming in. And then it's Christian, and it's like, well, this is great.
Don't diss Christian.
I was like, well, this is great because it's Christian.
Yeah.
But also, it's like
you presented
it as something way bigger than Christian is. And that's nothing against Christian. Christian's amazing.
Yeah.
But it was like oh my god, who's going? Okay, yeah, that's fine. And they had the same thing at Forbidden Door when Danielson couldn't wrestle, and he was like, I've got a suitable replacement for it. Everyone assumed it was Claudio, but then there was people like, I mean, it could be Gresham.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation. The opposite, people were like, if it's Gresham, then that's cool. But it's not. But it's okay that it's Gresham. But if it's Claudio, then that's something that's amazing. And I think that's what we got here. Like if it's Bray, oh man, that's so cool, it's amazing. But if it's Karrion Kross, I saw someone theorizing it could be Mustafa Ali, because Ali's whole hacker gimmick was very Matrixy, and the whole point of the Matrix is following the White Rabbit. There's a lot of circles, which was Ali's whole deal. Yeah. And I think like if it's Ali, that's really cool. What a cool new direction for Ali. But also like if we overhyped ourselves into thinking it's something else. I mean, when I got the video from Angela, the first thing I said back to him, I was like, this is 100% Bray Wyatt.
Right.
Like this, everything about this, from the video itself, the lights, the way it's being presented, the way it's doing through this organic social media thing, the red light.
Yeah, the red light at the end.
The kind of the video itself, who killed the world, you did. It feels like text, a very text and everything. Everything is just sort of pointing towards it being Bray. And we've got reports apparently that Bray is on his way back. And it really has got me kind of hyped. It's made me really excited for this Friday SmackDown. Because I'm so curious. I don't think he's debuting at SmackDown. I don't think he is like making his return, but I think we're going to get the first real big tease of like on TV tease of what the next phase of this is going to be. Somebody pointed out next week's episode is like, or maybe save it until October. You do it in sort of spooky ooky Halloween season.
Yeah.
But for me at the moment, I just feel like it's Bray. And I know a few people as well pointing out it's Ramblin' Rabbits was part of this. This feels like a whole new character though, kind of in the same way that the Fiend was an evolution of the Bray Wyatt character. I feel like this now if it's Bray, it'll be an evolution of what the Fiend did. So I don't think it's Ramblin' Rabbit again.
I don't know. I mean, the other thing is like, yes, there's a lot of Bray imagery here, but he's not the only one who's had this kind of, hint-laden intro. I mean, I always think of Chris Jericho. It's not Chris Jericho, but I'm not even thinking. Could you imagine? I'm not even thinking it's Chris Jericho or anything like that, obviously, for obvious contractual reasons. However, he always had that kind of, there was the Sabres thing, there was the... do you remember that weird one where there were two kids and everyone thought that the girl was supposed to represent Stephanie McMahon and he was going to become... Do you remember this? God, it was his third return.
Yeah.
And it was a very like white background and these kids in school. There was a really sad looking like Voldemort looking boy. And then there was a girl who was like whispering in his ear. It was all kids are creepy. It was the kids are creepy mode of thinking back in like
he's here.
Hate that stuff. But like that he always had that kind of thing as well. So it's not necessarily just because it's creepy, just because it's a bit kooky, just because it's even down to the song. It does seem Wyatty, but it might not be. And I just don't want people to get so carried away that if something completely fresh and completely new and completely exciting happens, if it is a Karrion Kross or if it's someone else entirely, I just don't want it to be a damp squib because we got so excited. I want to give it the opportunity to be something cool.
100%.
It has been fun so far.
Yeah, and that's the point I was sort of making earlier. Is like if it's not Bray and it's a new character for something, like if it is Mustafa Ali, my first thought would be like, well, that's cool. That's a cool new direction for Ali. But there will be that.
They have to back it up.
They've got to back it up, and they have got to follow up on the promise that they have kind of given to us. Well, the excitement they've given to us here, because I think this is genuinely exciting. Yeah, and that's also why I don't think it's Karrion Kross, because the amount of effort you're going to here doesn't feel like for someone who's already returned, has already had a match.
But I suppose he's not really returned with any. He's returned and with a slight agenda, but not necessarily with any.
He started a feud. He's got his whole thing.
Spice, I suppose.
Like when he attacks people, the camera cuts to black and white. Like I feel like he's already established who he is on the main roster. Yeah. That we don't need to introduce another side to it, particularly in this way as well. Like I think they would have just done some stuff on TV for him. But the fact that they're going to such lengths to try and do this as a fan groundswell thing makes me think it has to be something, either someone new, someone returning, or a big character change for someone who's already there.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, should we have a poll on the... I believe Mod Mother is on stream today. So Mod Mother, can we have a poll, please, of who do you think the White Rabbit is? Can we have Karrion Kross, Bray Wyatt, other?
I would go. I like a poll.
Mm-hmm.
I like to just get involved.
Yeah,
You always see something, you click it. So I tend to just click the third one so that I can see what everyone else does. But that always skews it because it means that the one that wins is other. So I'd be very interested to see how the poll would go.
I'm also going to do a quick test here. I Googled the QR code, Dan. So let me try this thing now.
Please.
Let me turn my my airplane mode off, my Jefferson airplane mode
off.
Very
strong.
Thank
I like that.
Much.
Okay, here we go, everybody. Well, let's welcome Luke into the year 2022.
Yeah, hold on. So I've opened up my camera.
Just your camera. Just hold it towards the. Don't do anything to it. Bang.
What?
Click it.
Click it?
Yeah.
No. Wow. Consent. You successfully scanned QR code.
I don't think that is the QR code. Here is the actual one, but that's got a little dinosaur on it. You might have just scanned the QR code.
People are trying to troll me online. Look, there's the guy in the crowd.
Scan that.
At exactly 9:23, a guy with a QR code walked across screen. Right, okay, let me try to go back to camera.
Focus. Oh, it might not be high def enough.
Oh, damn it. But anyway, I mean...
Point is, you've just seen that it works.
I've just seen that it works. So...
Can you do that one?
No, it's just trying to focus on Austin Theory's face.
There it is, you see.
Yeah.
Trust. But you've seen it.
I've seen it. It works. I believe you, Dan. Yeah. I absolutely believe you.
I am so young.
Also, and I am not a petty person.
No,
but I
am.
I had a lot of people have a pop at me for saying that the crowd was dead on this show.
Oh, I've written that down.
Yeah.
At some point.
People said to me, I was like, I cannot believe you said that. They chanted, "This is awesome" on several occasions. They chanted, "Who's your daddy?" Apart from that heat for Dom, which was insane.
Oh, tasty.
Tasty.
But then within the Ray Riddle match, there was a moment in it that I wrote down where I was like, where'd they go? Yeah. And you're looking at them and they're just like, and that's the match's fault, I will say personally.
Yeah. So I got people being like, I can't believe you said the crowd was dead. You're just looking for a reason to hate. I've just had a report again from Angela, who was there live, saying the crowd was dead all night. You were right in your review. So, vindication for Daddy Luke.
Goodness.
Anyway, should we get into what you guys think while the poll is currently live? I'm going to give a quick shout out as well to moderator Rob.
Moderator Rob.
Robinator, maybe.
Hello.
Roberator, who has put together today's doc.
Ultrachat doc.
And he has done it. You won't be able to see this on camera. In spooky, scary font.
Little White Rabbit font, which we both opened this doc and went, oh, brilliant.
You see,
really well done. It's that attention to detail.
There would be other members of this team that would see that and be like, Rob, just put it in Helvetica. Just put it in Times New Roman.
Here on the Raw review.
But in Arial, if you must.
We appreciate this level of fontry.
Hector Rodriguez has been a Membug for 9 months in a row. He said, I've been a Membug for 7 months, but if the White Rabbit does signal Bray's return, does that mean that Rambling Rabbit was the one that possessed Ray?
I've got to say, I do feel like the idea of a rabbit-esque fiend, I don't feel good about it. It's just something about it. I don't know if it would be like a bit too gimmicky for me. I know that's stupid for a Bray Wyatt character.
Okay, but here's the thing. Do you reckon Bray Wyatt feels to me like the sort of guy that in 2001 would have got a Donnie Darko tattoo?
Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. I don't want that.
I actually went to school with a guy that did that. Had like the full Donnie Darko time thing tattooed on down his forearm.
Oh dear.
Hey, do you know what? It's still a good movie.
Yeah.
The follow-up on the sequel, less so.
Donnie Darkest.
S. Darko. Vala Mavadipundi has been a member for 17 months in a row. Said, I'm ready for Bray's Malice in Wonderland arc.
There's been also a lot. This is the other thing people have been sharing the clips. There's been an awful lot of Alice references with Bray, and it's written in Warrington, which is where I'm from. So we have a big statue of the Mad Hatter Tea Party. So I get very fond of anything even vaguely related to Alice in Wonderland. So I've been loving it on that element.
Have you ever heard the Alice in Wonderland audiobook read by Scarlett Johansson?
No.
It's too sexy.
But I have listened to, when I was little, I used to listen to the audiobook of, it was Joanna Lumley reading the Jabberwock. And it's too sexy. It's too sexy. But she used to say, would gyre and gimble in the wave. And so for me, for a really long time, Joanna Lumley was in fact still is the gyre and gimble lady. So that's just my little Alice in Wonderland tale.
I would highly recommend Scarlett Johansson reading Alice in Wonderland.
Please.
But let's
do it.
It's a bit sexy, but hey.
What isn't?
What isn't these days? Hawk the Outcast 823. While Carrion was the White Rabbit in Lucha Underground, I don't see the end game of it being this mysterious after he's returned to TV. Likely Bray Wyatt, unless we're completely barking up the wrong tree and it's Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny. I don't know.
No, you are right. You said it. The Hawk is the same. It was also so recently that Carrion came back to TV. It's not like, I mean, and they could have held him off a bit longer. Other than making that big splash and getting people talking about the show, the argument is that, you know, you could have held off a little bit longer if you wanted to introduce him in this way. So I do take that point. I'm still personally, that little hourglass is it's too on brand for someone's current gimmick for it to, do you know what I mean? For someone else. That's where I go.
Blakey said, I don't think it's cross because he put out a tweet that was the whole emoji, a rabbit emoji, then a question mark below the whole emoji. I think he's saying, who's down the rabbit hole? He then said, he's not the one we should be suspecting. Wait and see.
But do you remember when Jericho spent ages saying, I'm not coming back to WWE, I'm not coming back, and then did? And then I don't know, people can be trying to throw you off the scent, kind of because we all get too excited and ahead of ourselves. Yeah. So it's almost like trying to encourage us to not think it is, so that when we get it, we still have that I knew it was you kind of thing, you know. Maybe he's just playing us.
Carry Me Out 42 said, do you remember that concept art of Bray doing a demonic pig mask representing Huskus the pig that was released a couple of years ago? I think the upcoming years will see incarnations of those puppets on TV, maybe Bray having multiple personalities. I'd actually forgotten about that. I had too. But now with the, you know, I kind of dismissed the Rambling Rabbit thing earlier, but I might be completely off base with that. I'd forgotten about that Huskus thing.
Yeah, I did.
Was really cool as well. Like,
these things creep me out.
As a big horror nerd that I am, like that is right up my alley.
And as a big wet blanket, these things really scare me.
Did you listen to the Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson scares me. I haven't told you this. I used to hide from The Undertaker when he was on TV. Oh, yeah. I was that level of scared.
And Planet Dan ASMR said, I think it is Bray Wyatt. Maybe he and Cross are going together, or he's coming for Cross. Also, did you maybe think he was talking to WWE, saying that the whole world had it in their hands in Bray, and then they released him, and that was them killing the world?
That's delicious.
That's so nice.
That. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, that's really strong.
All I'm saying is that if it is Bray Wyatt, have him be on Raw, because I review that show.
So purely for you.
Purely selfishly for me. Yeah. SmackDown's already got all the things I like.
It does have a lot.
It's got Drew. It's got Hit Row. It's got the Usos. Yeah. It's got the Brawling Brutes. Give me all the things I want on my show.
We had the Brawling Brutes this week as well.
I like Sheamus. I like Sheamus on my show.
Buddy. Well, you got a little bit of Sheamus.
I did.
With the punching.
I did get a little bit, yeah. But anyway, thank you so much for those Ultra Chats. Please do get more of them in to WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one of them, but the $5 and your Canadian or Australian ones. Don't want them, thanks, before the end of the show. Also, Dan.
Yes.
Do you know what I like? To try and soothe this croaky voice that I have.
It's very, it could be Barry White if you wanted to.
I had a bit of a cold over the weekend. Yeah. I've now recovered from said cold.
But when your voice is still a little bit,
Yeah, I need
We've all been there.
I need a lot of lubrication on the old voice today. I did the rushes for the news and I was like, uh-oh.
I once came downstairs. My friend is a animator and likes voice actors who can do some stuff. I came down once with my Barry White voice after having had a cold, and he was like, can you keep this? I was like, no, I try.
Excuse me. But anyway, no, what I do like is beer to soothe my soothe my voice, soothe my neck.
Chilled beer.
Exactly, a nice chilled beer, and I could get 8 of those for free.
Hang on a second.
Yeah,
I don't believe you, even though you told me about it, but 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, like no, but legit though, 8 craft beers.
Yeah.
For free.
For free.
All I had to do is pay for the post and packaging.
Hang on. Tell me more things like that. Where can I find that?
Oh, beer52.com/WrestleTalk.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that.
It came straight to my front door. I didn't even have to go out and get it. I just clicked the link on an excellent podcast, and then I then went through that link. I put my details in. I paid for that post and packaging, and it arrived to my front door.
What a modern world we live in. What's next? Being able to get QR codes on your phone?
And then I enjoyed it while watching Celebrity MasterChef.
Oh, brilliant. I'm still not caught up with Celebrity MasterChef.
Oh, that's so good.
Because there was the Liz.
Look at the Queen in that. Yeah.
I ran out of time to watch other things. I've just been sat in front of my telly crying into my Charles and Diana mug.
Such a long funeral.
Oh, so long. Did you watch the BT Sports stream or did you watch a Naughty stream?
We watched it on BBC.
Okay, right. No, I'm talking about Raw, not the Queen.
Oh, sorry.
Did you watch the BT Sport coverage of the Queen's funeral?
I mean,
they had like Peter Crouch and Paul Scholes, like, yeah, she really like the 4-4-3 formation she had behind the coffin was.
I mean, it's classic, but it's what you need sometimes.
Yeah, I've always thought that William was a tapping merchant. You know, it was a no. Did you watch?
I mean, dude, it was on Babe Station. Like,
it wasn't on Babe
It was.
Station.
They all had live coverage of
Oh
it.
no, that's devastating.
One of the
wanted.
trickier wanks, I suppose.
Foul. No, I meant Raw. I watched the BT. I was watching it live last night because I'm a nocturnal animal. And because it was the Queen's funeral yesterday, for our international viewers, there were no adverts in the UK out of a sign of respect because the Queen notably hated advertising. So she would never take a spawn. No. She never did. Even in her Queen's vlogs at Christmas, she never took a spawn. This year, we are brought to you by Beer 52. I would have loved... Wouldn't you have watched that?
Beer52.com/The Queen.
The Queen, yeah. Anyway, no. So there were no adverts, which meant that Raw for me was like 5 to 7 minutes of action, and then 2 minutes just sat there quietly while a picture of the Queen was on screen with some plinky plonky music behind it in place of the ad breaks. It was a very strange experience.
I watched on BT Sport this morning.
Yeah.
The forward 30, forward 30, but then I'm like, the Queen's still there. Forward 30, the Queen's still there.
Just imagine me at 1 a.m, sat quietly in my living room staring at the Queen, just like, I guess I'll pour a drink then. It was very weird. Very weird.
Beer52.com/WrestleTalk. Get yourself 8 free craft beers on us. All you got to do is pay for that sweet ass post and packaging. Right, let's get into this episode of Raw. It kicked off with the United States Championship match between Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley. Hot way to open this.
You open with a title match, which is a lesson you could have learned on my GM this week.
I was going to, but my goal was I had to schedule a run-in on a champion.
Yeah, well, and that was the only thing that went wrong for you. On my GM
I would say everything else swimming.
Clearly.
Yeah, and we all remember King Nakamura's famous
infamous heel turn. Yeah.
There's open with the United States Championship match. Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley. Hot way to open this show. But I will say, like, you look how the reaction that Bobby was getting a few months back. Like, I remember the match he had with Tommaso Ciampa for the title. And like me and Ollie were just like, God, put the belt on Ciampa. Like, really establish yourself, Trips. It's like this new creative direction you're going with. And then I heard the reaction that Ciampa didn't get, and I heard the reaction that Bobby got, and I was like, oh, no, you better keep that belt on Bobby. Like, that man's over like Rover. Not so much here now. And I feel that's because he hasn't done anything. He's just defended his title in other people's feuds.
And I think his matches have been sort of good.
Yeah,
fine,
good.
Dependable.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was absolutely a moment where he was on fire. Do you remember that time he like grabbed the WWE title from someone in the crowd and was like, "I'm coming for this," like this whole thing. He had a lot of energy and a lot of hype, and I do like the idea of just a champ going around being the champ, come at me, but needs to have a little something fire. And you're right, defending it against people who are in other feuds. That's where this came apart for me a little bit. Because I'm standing there looking at Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley. I'm like, this is a main event caliber match, and it's for the title. If you give this a little build, could be quite tasty, but it's the opener. So I'm inevitably thinking, I don't think either of these people are going to lose. Like, who's going to take the L here? I'm a bit curious about it. And then we got an up and down match, I thought.
Yeah, it was like, they did stuff.
There was one bit where I was really into it. And can I please be pedantic for a second?
Please do.
If I can be pedantic on main. So something really good happened. I'm a big fan of ring psychology on a basic level, because I believe that you should be able to just tune into any wrestling show and be able to figure out the story of the match, within the match, who's good, who's bad, what's going on, and why. And this happened. So Rollins goes for a stomp, and he can't get it because it's too early in the match. He did a couple of relatively soft super kicks, and then when he goes for the stomp, Lashley's upper body strength stops him from being able to do it. We come back from the break, and Seth is working on Lashley's arm, which I think is great. That's really smart. It's like, okay, so I can't take it now because he's quite strong. His finishing move is the Hurt Locker. He needs both of his, arms. I'm going to take his arms out. Great. Fantastic. Brilliant in-ring psychology. Cut back from the next, like, they even point it out on commentary. They're even going like, oh, really taking that arm out. He's cut back from the next one. Not only is Bobby fine, commentary go, yeah, remember that arm thing? No, he's fine now. Anyway, let's carry on. And I'm like, what? You just undercut it completely. And then we get a run-in.
Yeah.
And I was cross.
Yeah, so Rollins ran down at the end, caused the distraction.
Riddle.
Oh, sorry, yes. Riddle ran down and caused the distraction. Can mark that up. distraction number one for the evening.
Was repaying back the distraction from last week.
Exactly, yes.
And also, you can make an argument that it was effective because Bobby still won and Rollins it was not a clean win.
Yep.
And it was almost like, Rollins had gone to cheat because he just hit the low blow. So it was like Riddle being
great
like,
ref
no,
bump.
no.
Great ref bump, great
really
low blow
ref
spot.
bump, yeah.
I actually thought the pedigree spot was great as well.
Great.
Like the tease the pedigree, and then Bobby went to hit the spear and he reversed it into the pedigree. I thought that was really good. Like really woke the crowd up to be like, whoa, that was great.
Little bursts in there.
Really good.
Unfortunately for me, and this is for me, all completely undercut by a run-in. I think run-ins inevitably are cheap for me. I do not like them. I think they're really irritating.
Yeah. I wouldn't watch Dynamite if I were you.
Well, I don't like them. I just find them quite irritating.
It's like 4 a match.
This is it, and it's just like it makes me feel like I shouldn't care about the rest when Saxton has already undercut me with the psychology by telling me to not worry about the arm anymore. Then when you get a run-in and it's like Lashley's incidental. He's there celebrating his win, but he doesn't matter. I don't know. It just didn't vibe for me.
Yeah.
It did pay back slightly later on in the evening. I just wonder, instead of this being a title match, could this have been a number one contenders match?
Yeah.
So that it's
a
not
championship contenders match, if you will.
Thank you very much for a shot at Lashley's. Like, could it have been? We don't have an on-screen official.
We have Adam Pearce.
Is he on Raw as well? I thought it was just SmackDown.
Well, he used to be across both threads, but I suppose in the Trips era, he's only on SmackDown, and he's only really bothering with Ronda Rousey.
If we had a GM, well, that's true, it's a bit preoccupied. If we had a GM or someone like that who was like, "Oh, you want a shot at a title? Granted, you got let's put you in a number one contenders match next week with AJ, for instance, just to pluck a name out of complete thin air, and then Riddle costs Rollins that match instead of it being a title match. I don't know. This was me. I recognise that I'm probably being a bit of a grumpus, but it made me cross.
I thought the match was fine, good match. And Champ got another one on TV. I'm just looking for Bobby to have a story. And it's the same problem I got with Wardlow on AEW.
Yeah.
Like he's had that title for feckin' months and has done diddly dick with it.
And Trips has been trying to build the US title back. They had that amazing package on his first episode of like, this is why the US title's cool. They had the 4-way contenders match. Was that great? That was a great match with Ciampa.
That was amazing. There's always good matches with Bobby.
Yeah,
always good.
He's reliable.
It's just that, like, when you hear the crowd reaction here, maybe there was just the crowd though. Maybe it was specifically this crowd, because this crowd was, I would say, not a great crowd all night. With the
they had moments.
Exception with that Dominic man, we'll get to later. Damage Control arrived in a limo, and then they had a championship celebration. I didn't get to use this in my review, so I will use this here now. They came out on the Bayley Cart 64, and
I wrote down Mexicools. I love them arriving in a limo. I missed the days of people arriving in a limo late to the show.
Yeah, slightly undercut them by then getting into Bayley Cart 64.
Why would they get into the Bayley Cart 64? That makes no sense to me, but sure.
But it was fine. My favorite thing about this was commentary pretending like they didn't lose the finals of the tournament.
You missed a bit, because I wrote down in all caps, Saxton must be stopped, because not only had he undercut my Bobby Lashley arm ring psychology, which I was very pleased with. He then also he was like, they've had a difficult time, have Damage Control, but they're just about getting back on track. And I'm like, no, present them as a dominant force. Pretend it didn't happen. We don't care. Like, it got my nerves that they're coming to the ring for this big celebration. They're supposed to be the big heel faction, and Saxton's being like, well, they've had a struggle. No, Saxton, shush!
I was going to say, like, I felt the commentary were like, they've owned this division since SummerSlam. And I was like, good, let's lie.
Let's pretend. I want them to lie.
Pretend that the loss never happened, because they should have just won the tag titles in the end of the tournament. So, yeah, fine. I'm much happy to ignore that. Some your local sports team stuff. And then
Bayley's from San Jose, so, like, it's allowed.
But also, it's just, it's WWE. Yeah. Actually, it's wrestling. Your local sports team is, it's par for the course. And then Bianca Belair and friends came out, and Bayley essentially buries this storyline by saying, why are you two here?
Which, this is where I started to go, ooh, and I was quite pleased. Because not only did she do that, we had Dakota say that Alexa had been lobotomized.
Yep.
And then we had Bayley go, you used to be something, mate.
Yeah.
Which,
really good for this, like, good character for her this episode.
One appearance on this episode of Raw Review for me, and I've already opened some doors to get Alexa back in. They're talking about it. Clearly, Trips was watching last week when we started our petition to get Alexa free from the sunken place.
Oh, dude, I'm pretty sure that Trips is watching this, because I had a real beef with the Fatal 4-Way #1 contention for the tag titles, being like 3 of the 4 teams in this have had losing streaks. All 3 of those teams were taken out, and winning teams were put in instead.
There you go. There you go. He's watching.
He's watching.
He loves to see it. And I'm pleased that we had then that moment of Bayley literally being like, you used to really be something, pointing out the ridiculousness of her still holding a lily, right? Why is Lily there? Why? We've moved on from that. But like, I just loved... sorry, no offense. I just realized she's behind us.
Well, yeah,
she's watching.
And she's apparently bites.
Well,
so.
Clearly.
It's a steel back there.
Know, teeth keep falling out. But yeah, I liked that Bayley was encouraging her. There was a little hint of something, maybe more with Alexa. For me, I was like, is she going to join Damage Control? The idea of Bayley being this person that saves people who have either been overlooked or sort of lobotomized, as Dakota was saying. You know, I'm kind of intrigued. I was into that.
So maybe we'll save all the Alexa chat for the main event, because there's actually some things that tie into the White Rabbits, which we discussed at the start of this. So we'll come back to this.
Are there?
Well, I'll get to that in a moment when we get to the ends. Fan theories and all
they're
that.
Here.
Sorry if you heard all the distracting noise. But yeah, and to set up a match between Bliss and Bayley later on tonight. We then got Austin Theories versus Kevin Owens. Again, good match. It was all right. Bit like the match they had a couple of weeks ago. Totally fine action. I think Theory is really good. Kevin Owens is great. It didn't quite live up to the hype that the promo from last week set up, however.
Yeah.
It's almost like, actually, an example of this, probably on a much larger scale, was the promo that the Pinnacle and Inner Circle did the week before Blood and Guts. Made me be like, oh, dang, I've got to see that Blood and Guts match. And the match didn't quite live up to that promo. And then I was like, the promo was better than the match in the end. Kind of the same thing here.
Always the way, though.
Like this promo, the promo that Kevin Owens did last week was so great, and Theory's selling of it was so great. But I don't feel like any of that really played into this match. Instead, what played into this match was Johnny Gargano interfering.
Another run-in,
stealing away the briefcase, which distracted Theory.
This one's slightly less irritating to me than the one, like only marginally less irritating. Number one, it wasn't a title match. Number two, because we've already seen Theory and Owens, and it was a delicious match.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not necessarily that first. Also, this is a story about all three of them. Like Owens' fire promo last week was talking about Johnny Gargano. People like me and Johnny Gargano.
They've got a tag match next week against American Alpha,
which I'm very excited for. We
had
a Johnny Shoosh, a couple of moments of Johnny Shoosh, which I was thrilled with. Can I talk briefly about Kevin Owens' moveset?
Of course you can.
Because oh my god, all of them. That Swanton is the most beautiful thing I've seen since Jeff Hardy's early days.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the thing with this one is you're holding your head up and then it's a last minute tuck. It's like Kurt Angle's beautiful moonsault, but the other way around. Do you know what I mean? It's just so pristine. Love the pop-up powerbomb. I think that for me is the best finishes.
So glad it's back.
Yeah, me too, because the best finishes come out of nowhere. The idea that like the RKO out of nowhere, like the best moves that finish a match, you can just do like that, and then suddenly 1, 2, 3. I think the pop-up powerbomb is like that. I don't love the stunner.
I'd rather he dropped the stunner.
But you know, whatever. I think he's got so many beautiful moves. He's a great performer. I love Kevin Owens.
Yeah. He's my favorite thing on Raw.
Yeah, big time.
But far and away, he's my favorite thing on Raw at the moment.
Yeah.
I need to get him back into some Bloodline stuff. That's what I'd like.
Well, he's mentioned it.
Maybe War Games.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we'll be talking about on Blackpool Content Club this week. It'd be War Games. We got a recap of Riddle and Rollins brawling last week, and Judgment Day offering Riddle a spot, and then Riddle had a chat with Kevin about Judgment Day, and then we got a video for Roman Reigns and Logan Paul. So Roman Reigns is on SmackDown this week, and Logan Paul, the big heel that he is, came out and cut a heel promo, is presented as the babyface. Roman Reigns came out and acted like a massive babyface, but is treated like the heel, and that's going to be the big match at Crown Jewel.
Sure.
Look, it's a Saudi show.
Yeah.
That's what you do at Saudi shows. You do bobbins main events that you wouldn't do on home soil.
But like, it's Logan Paul, and Jake Paul put out a tweet that was like, hey, 2 matches and you're already challenging for the Universal title. The doors will be open. I'm just like, that doesn't look as cool as you think it does. Like, that, if anything, undercuts the entire point. It just makes it look cringe. And it's like, I get that it's Crown Jewel. It just makes me cross.
It's totally fine. It's a Saudi show.
And the 2 matches he had were both tag matches where like he was
and the singles
decent.
match.
Did he have a singles match?
Yeah, he had a singles match with Miz at SummerSlam.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a tag match too.
No.
Maybe because it's just the heavy celebrity involvement.
No one remembers anything from SummerSlam outside of the bulldozer at the end with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And Damage Control. Like it's a Saudi show. It's an absolutely fine thing to do at a Saudi show. The report is, and this totally makes sense, It's what the Crown Prince wants. And the Saudi shows are just...
And what the Crown Prince wants.
Because Saudi shows are My Sweet 16, but for the Saudi Prince. And so he wants this match. That's the match he's going to get. And then we could just wait until Roman comes back and we'll do a proper match with him at Survivor Series.
I hate to see it. I don't want this to happen. It makes me cross. Logan Paul is good on the mic, and I will give him that. I think
he's great as a heel.
Yeah.
He's a terrible babyface.
Yeah.
Almost one of the worst babyfaces ever.
Yeah, well, being a babyface is very hard to do.
Particularly when you're a knob.
Like there you go. Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, SmackDown's Brawling Brutes came out.
Love to see them.
Don't mind it.
Well,
Don't mind it, mate.
The tag titles have no branding.
But they're not tag champs.
No, but they're going to challenge for it.
They cut the same promo that Drew basically did when SmackDown's Drew McIntyre appeared on Raw, which was like, hey, if I had the belts, I could just be on this show. I was like, I don't think you need the belts at this point. Brand split, LOL. They cut a bit of a promo. Crowd weren't really into them. Feels like the crowd aren't really that warm to the Brawling Brutes, but they like Sheamus. Street Profits came out and had a match. And a match where this was the one that really stuck out to me for this crowd. You could hear a pin drop during a lot of this match. Honestly, like if someone coughed, you could turn around and see who it is. And then all of a sudden, Street Profits did a top rope blockbuster, and they started "This is awesome" for 5 seconds. I was like, "Where have you been?" And then that 5 seconds ended. Deadly silence again.
Maybe they're like the Japanese crowd. You know the Japanese crowds who like pay very much attention, and then when there's a break in play, they just give you big claps, and then they go quiet again for most of the match, and then they come back. Maybe that's what San Jose is like. Maybe it's the energy. I loved this match.
They have said that San Jose was the Japan of America.
The Japan of the Bay Area. I personally thought this match for me was the highlight of the show. I had a great time. I love tag team wrestling. I know Trips is a big fan of tag team wrestling. I like the Brawling Brutes too.
Street Profits rule.
I like teams that are teams. I don't like teams that's why the women's division, tag division really upsets me, because half the time it's just people who are thrown together. I like teams that go out there, they have moves established, they know what they're doing, they have their technique. I'm a big fan. I loved what they were doing. I loved that double Sheamus clubbing action. Was a lot of fun. I was into this in a big way.
Yeah. Do you know what I love about this? And this is my biggest thumbs up I have for this episode, because I thought this whole segment set out to achieve something and achieved it massively. Sure, the crowd went into it, but from a fundamental booking level, everything here made sense. Yeah. Because they've got a tag title match this coming Friday. So what do? You give them a big win here on TV, excuse me, over a big team on Raw. A big team. Street Profits, one of the most established teams in WWE. And the Brawling Brutes won here, clean as a sheet, which builds them up for their tag title match this coming Friday. Huge thumbs up for me. Give them wins and momentum.
If you're trying to get them to be over without Sheamus, this is the way you do it.
I
loved
have them
put in a serious... I truly believe that the best way to get anybody over is to deliver in the ring. Like, ultimately, all the character stuff, all the promo stuff, is another extra. If you are good in the ring, people will care. Yeah. So they delivered on that front.
I loved this so much. I thought this was superb. Ray cut a promo on Judgment Day. I think I've heard this promo from him every single week since, actually before Clash of the Castle, but now after Clash of the Castle.
Can I say something controversial yet brave?
What's that?
I don't think Ray's very good at cutting promos. And I think for someone who's been around for as long as he hasn't got very good at them at all.
Yeah, you know.
I love his eyes, though.
Yeah, I mean, I've written here, Riddle walks in and lightens the mood a little bit.
His son hit him in the face.
I was going to say, Ray's just like, they took my baby boy, and Matt Riddle says, like, wacka wacka. Want some Scooby snacks?
Yeah, he did do that.
Speaking of wacka wacka, Owens and Gargano got challenged by Alpha Academy for a match next week.
Well, if it isn't Johnny Shoosh, big fan.
And then the match is all made, and then Owens makes the realization next week's show is in Canada.
In Edmonton, no less.
It's in Edmonton. And the last time Chad Gable and Owens were in the ring together in Canada, they had a terrible time.
Yeah.
So Owens was like, we get to do that again next week. And then Chad Gable was like, oh, no, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We'll do it in 2 weeks' time.
In Minnesota. Yeah, that was I had fun with that.
Love that.
Yeah, that was
so great. Something that me and Ollie talked about, I love one of the big things that Trips has done is make the location feel like a big deal, because Raw is a bit homogenous, really. It's just
could just be anywhere.
Same with SmackDown. Could just be anywhere. Dynamite's got the same issue, actually. You could just be anywhere in the country.
They do a lot. I for the longest time thought Dynamite was still in one place.
Yeah, because they just make it all look exactly the same. But like, if you make the place, and I think this is what AEW do well, is they do a lot of their branded shows around like the location that they're in.
Thrash Stadium.
Quaker Lake, Quaker Lake, and things like that. So they got, they make it feel like someone. Like even Chad Gable saying, "I got 2 weeks within Minnesota." Like you're announcing where you are in 2 weeks. Yeah, makes it just feel like it's more of a traveling circus. Yeah, as opposed to just being welcome to Monday Night Raw.
It could be anywhere.
Could be anywhere. So I thought that was great. We then got Judgment Day versus Matt Riddle and Rey Mysterio. However, the big talking point here is Judgment Day cut the same promo that Judgment Day always cut.
Yeah. Finn literally quoted Harry Potter.
Yeah. What did he?
He literally quoted Harry Potter verbatim. He said, "It takes a lot of courage to stand up to your friends, but no, to stand up to your enemies, but it takes even more to stand up to your friends." He literally quoted Harry Potter. I was like, Dumbledore Balor? Is that who you're being now? Fine.
And he, I mean, well, so Dumbledore was, also, he'd have a pride flag, wouldn't he?
Dumbledore?
Yeah.
Big old guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so maybe Finn just sees some inspiration.
Well, there you go.
In that. Anyway, I said about, they're cutting this promo, which is just, we run this show. We run Monday Night Raw.
We still don't really have a character yet.
This is our show.
Spooky jobber.
Rhea Ripley. I made this boy a man. Yada, yada, yada. And it goes to Dom. I wrote my idea. Dom looks like he's about to bring me some extra breadsticks because my meal is going to be an extra 20 minutes.
Dom works at Olive Garden now.
He does.
He really does. He's got a little summer job.
His little summer. It is. It's a part-time job that he does
really
after
is.
school. His crap mullet, his little terrible facial hair.
His mullet he's got to slick back because he works in food. Like, yeah. Okay, strong.
It's going to be like, I'm so sorry. It's going to be another 20 minutes.
No, it's the promo he's cutting. But he goes to, he's got the breadsticks in his hand. Great.
But for whatever reason, Dominic Mysterio just holding the microphone got nuclear heat. This was incredible.
To the point where I was like, are they piping in extra booze? But they're reacting in the moment, like they're reacting to the crowd.
This was, do you remember with Elias and Kevin Owens?
Yeah.
When all of a sudden, like, they just mentioned your local sports team and it created this massive boo. But because the boo was so much bigger than they thought it was going to be, the crowd then just made it louder.
Yeah.
And then because they made it louder, they just made it even louder. This happened here. The crowd booed Dom. And then Rhea Ripley, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, hearing this, leapt upon it and just egged this crowd on more.
Because that's what you're looking for.
That's exactly it. And the more that those three were hyping them up, the louder the boos got. The louder the boos got. You couldn't hear Dom's promo. And Rhea Ripley's like, you're just going to have to talk over them. And
which is great.
Boo even more.
So the thing
he said absolutely nothing.
This is the problem. So the thing is, with that kind of heat, that's delicious. That's exactly what you're looking for. I think we as the audience have been desperate to boo Dominic Mysterio for the longest time because he's just been nothing. And now we get the opportunity to boo. We're going to take it. Thank you very much. It's not even like X-Pac go away heat. It's very legitimate. Let's boo you and we're having a great time with it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Dom doesn't know how to cut a promo. Being a heel is considerably easier than being a face. It's like and not that
Logan Paul.
You got to learn. You got to be good at it, but it's a lot easier. He sort of delivered this really wooden promo, didn't say a lot, and then went away. So I'm hoping that he can use the confidence boost that he is inevitably going to get from having this nuclear heat.
Yeah.
And really work on it and take the ball and run with it because it's a great opportunity for him now.
I mean, he bollocks up his line later on in this show.
When he called her mummy.
Yeah.
It's
like, no.
And she went with it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, because Rhea's a pro. I was like, no, the gimmick, you div, is that she's your dad.
She's your pappy. She even said it earlier on the show. Yeah.
Moron. Anyway, like, the fact that he said nothing just made this whole nuclear heat thing even better for me because I'm like, that was a terrible promo, but the crowd booed it like it was the greatest promo they'd ever heard in their life. Thought it was amazing.
They did.
And then it led to this match between Judgment Day and Mysterio and Riddle. Again, match was fine. It was given time. So
do you know what
they enjoyed Ray's hot tag and Ray running wild.
This is where I noticed how dead the crowd was because Riddle got a hot tag and there was a bit of a pop for it, but then he starts going in and he starts bashing against Finn with these punches that look weaker than a Shane McMahon left hook.
And I was going to say a Shane McMahon left hook is just like that's hitting you.
It doesn't look like it.
It's a potato farm right there.
That's what he was doing this business. And like there was a couple of weak moves and the crowd just suddenly were like dead.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at them and I'm hearing a few cheers and I'm like, where are those cheers coming from? That's why I started wondering if they were piping noise in again because the crowd were just sat there like nothing was happening. But then they eventually did. They picked. Did you notice that when Ray didn't hit Dom with the chair? Do you see what Dominic did?
No.
So Dom's on the floor like, come on, have a go, which I liked very much. I liked that Ray sort of teased going for it and then dropped it on the floor and went in. And it was only in the replay that I watched Dominic to see his reaction and see what he's doing and see if he really is enjoying this smarmy heel gimmick. And he just goes, pussy. I was like, Dom, where's that energy when you've got a breadsticks in your hand?
That's great.
Yeah, like
Love that. Yeah, so we had a bit more interference and distraction in this match because Rollins came down to attack Matt Riddle, which Ray then chased off. And then Dom created some distraction of his own by asking his dad to hit him with an unprotected chair shot in the face because he's hardcore. And Ray didn't do that, got in the ring, got hit with some moves, and he got pinned.
Yep. The end.
The end. And then they celebrated afterwards.
They had a little family portrait. Their family portrait. They look pretty happy.
So this is a bit of a sidebar, which is unlike you and I.
Well, yeah, never.
My wife and I were watching a TV show called The Wilds, I think, on Amazon Prime. So that one that's basically like Lord of the Flies, but it's girls.
Yeah, okay.
It's great. The first series, very, very good. Second series, I've not been as much into, but the first series I thought was excellent. In the first episode, they're talking about Pink. And like Pink being this sort of like very good artist for sort of like girls, and girls sort of really band together around Pink songs. Yeah. And I said to my wife, I was like, we don't have a lot of Pink on our joint playlist. We should add some Pink to our joint playlist.
Oh, they're all bangers.
And then I went to add some Pink to my playlist, and I suddenly realized, like, I don't know that many Pink songs, it turns out. I was like, Party Started. Yeah. Misunderstood. Yeah. And that was more or less.
Don't let me get me.
And then, so my Pink knowledge of the albums that I had were Misunderstood and the the second one. Yeah. And then it ends there. So I don't know any sort of Monday stuff.
So what?
Oh yeah, there's that. Yeah. I think I might have had that one. But I also added in Family Portraits. Yeah. Because I was like, well, that's a song title I recognize.
This song is not.
Oh no, it's not a fun road trip song, is it?
The Jolly Playlist song.
And it came on a playlist shuffle, and my wife was like, why did you put this one on?
You're trying to communicate through Pink songs, like you're just trying to let her know.
And I was like, isn't this one of like her fun songs? She was like, no, oh god, no, this is not a fun song. And I was like, oh no, that song was very sad, isn't it?
Too much.
Took that off the playlist.
I'll hook you up with some more Pink tracks.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff.
It'd be much appreciated.
Lady Marmalade.
Anyway, Seth and then Rollins got into an argument backstage and set up a fight pit match.
Fight pit.
For Extreme Rules. Yeah. Now, I know some people really enjoyed the Timothy Thatcher, Matt Riddle fight pit match there in NXT. I take a bit of a step back, and there's a bit of a disconnect between me and fake MMA.
Right.
I don't like it. Okay. AEW did one recently, and it was awful. I was not big into the Lions Den match in 98.
Back in the days.
There's a big disconnect for me. I don't like UFC anyway. Yeah. What I like even less is people doing pretend UFC. Yeah. So there's a bit of like a
and it really is a cage match by any other name, except you can't escape it and you can't pinfall. There's got to be a knockout or a submission. So okay, interesting.
Cool.
Let's see what it's going to be. Yeah. It was something new, and I loved the energy. Interesting that like Riddle lost that match against Thatcher, didn't he?
If you would say so, yeah.
So like, it's not like it's your match.
No, but he's got a UFC record.
Yeah,
so maybe that's what he's going with. Okay. MizTV with Dexter Lumis was announced. Miz recapped how babyface Dexter Lumis has been stalking him.
He did do that. He also pointed out that he was having a Minions-themed birthday for his daughter, and I lost it. I was laughing so hard at the idea of him being so paranoid surrounded by minions.
I'm not having a Minions-themed birthday party for my kid this weekend.
That is a real shame.
And it is a bit of a shame. If it was going to be anything themed, it would be Bluey, obviously. Well, or Hey Dougie, which I think is like just about equal to Bluey in terms of like what is the best kid show on TV.
I don't watch children's TV.
Oh, you should do. It's marvelous. I'll hook you up with some.
I'll give you some Pink songs and you can give me some children's TV.
Jamie, I could legit do you 5 episodes of Bluey that will bring a tear to your eye.
I'm all right. I've got the House of the Dragon to catch up with.
It's on Disney Plus. Way better than House of the Dragon.
I'm sure.
So I've heard.
Minions themed birthday for Miz. Let's just move right past all of these recommendations.
But anyway, like, here's the thing. I've reached the thing with Dexter Lumis. Mm-hmm. It's not for me. Okay. I think I made this abundantly clear last week. People let me know very much so that I'm wrong, and that's absolutely fine if people want to disagree with me. It's not to my personal tastes. However, much like it's the comparison I will use, the Lana Rusev Bobby Lashley love triangle storyline that they did a number of years ago.
I was into that.
I thought was dreadful television, and we all thought, everyone in the Ultrachats, everyone in our live chats, me and Ollie all thought it was dreadful television, but it got over with the live crowd every single week. And I said, do you know what? The live crowd love it. So it's not for me, but it's working for the audience. And it's the same thing here. The Dexter Lumis stuff is not for me, but when it's in front of a live audience, I go nuts for it.
It works for me, the Dexter stuff still. I think it is running out of steam for me a little bit because I am a little bit concerned that there's not actually going to be any movement yet. Like we still haven't got a motivation. I think that's the key for me now. I need to know why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
I love the whole thing we came up with last week. The person in the Ultrachat said about him being the brother. Big fan of that. Want that to be it. It's a really delicate thing, and long-term storytelling is something that we have been crying out for, and I want there to be more of that. I don't know that this qualifies as that because we haven't had any motivation yet. I just need to know why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
He can't just keep popping up and staring.
So we a phrase that I try to popularize on this channel is there is a difference between long-term storytelling and a story that takes a long time to tell.
Yes.
And that is, we're in that territory at the moment. This is not long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
This is just, it's taking a while to get to a point. Feels like we don't really know what our end game is, or we're not at our end game yet, so we're just finding ways to just delay.
It still works for me.
Yeah.
But
it is still week one of this story.
It is.
And we've been doing it for like 6 weeks.
I was going to say, if this were the third week and the next week we find out some stuff, but not even the Miz is telling us what's happened. Like, and even I was like, oh, finally we're getting a MizTV segment, so we'll get something. We just got more of the same. Okay, fine. I'm going to need some actual words now. I'm going to need some knowledge. I'm going to need some story because we haven't got any story here.
And this is kind of the segment I was talking about. And actually, with the Mysterions and things like that. Well, I said in the review that like nothing was really furthered on this episode. And I don't really think a lot was furthered. And people were like, oh, they announced 2 matches for Extreme Rules. Like, well, that's bare bones storytelling of like you've set up some matches and then we could, it's telegraph stuff. Stories weren't really moved forward.
Yeah.
Some stuff was announced. This is one of those stories that isn't moving forward. Mysterions isn't really moving forward. Lashley isn't really moving forward. Riddle and Rollins isn't really moving forward. They just announced a match. So like
works on a quick show, but on 3 hours.
On 3 hours when nothing's actually progressing.
Yeah.
That was actually my big takeaway from this episode. What I did like about this is, following afterwards, because Dexter Lumis cut his way out of the
bit of whack-a-mole.
He came whack-a-mole, looked a bit Diglets, came out and then did some spooky, like trying to drag him down to Little People's Court. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other. Afterwards, Judgment Day, this is where Dom called Rhea Mummy.
He did do that.
Idiot.
Fool.
She's got a gimmick, you knob. And then we got a very interesting moment afterwards where Balor approaches AJ Styles.
Yes.
Essentially offering AJ a spot in Judgment Day. And AJ, while he was like, I'll never side with you.
He just got off the phone with his friends and was like, thanks very much, guys. I'll see you at the next meeting.
Anyway, look, I have said before on this show, AJ Styles is a flat earther, and people have corrected me on that. He's not a flat earther. He just thinks there's an interesting conversation to be had.
I'm just doing mischief. It's fine.
I'm just clarifying. I mean,
for libel purposes.
My AJ thing, though, is, did you ever hear the TNA call-in that he had where someone said...
We got a bit... on the homophobic side.
Well, he just said, you're a big icon in the gay community. And his response to that was, the gay community!
Yeah, he did do that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He was on the phone to the gay community.
The gay community?
And Finn, I like this, because Finn said, oi, buddy, you're a bit of a loser. Why don't you come and join our group? And AJ was like, I'll never join your group. But then, at the end of it, didn't look like he was... hugely against the idea of it.
And also his gear lends very well to black and purple. I think he could just make black and purple gear. That's absolutely fine. That's really seems to be the only requirement for joining, is that if you can afford black and purple gear, you can be one of us.
Yeah.
I still feel the Judgment Day needs some bite. They were gurning like losers. Like there's nothing to hate. There's nothing to love. They're just really lame, but they think they're cool, and it doesn't really vibe for me. So I am looking for something to really sink my teeth into from them. I like the idea of Finn talking to AJ about it. I like the idea of them being on this recruitment drive. I just want them to stand for something. I don't know what it is.
Also, just to clarify on a segment we started last week, I had it confirmed by Sean Ross Sapp.
You did?
Dexter is a babyface.
Wow. So I'll believe it when I see it. We
got a video promo for Alexa Bliss because she's done nothing since coming back in February or in April.
Because Trips was watching and he decided he was going to reward us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I thought it was interesting. Kind of every part of her Fiend's run.
Well, it's a gimmick. The Fiend run is a gimmick that doesn't work in front of a live crowd.
Yeah.
It worked for the Thunderdome era.
So they just cut all of it out from her history and just said she's been this character this whole time, and now she carries this dolly. Now we had this match of Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. Bayley came out with Bianca Belair and Friend. And my wife said to me, "What is Lily? Or what is the puppet? Is it a voodoo doll version of her?" And I said, "Oh, it's a long story. I believe the history of the character was that it was a doll that Alexa Bliss had. I said this is when she was a spooky character. She had this doll when she was a child that was alive, and it would like kill other kids who were mean to Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
And she was like, and really alive. I was like, oh yeah, it chased Shayna Baszler down a corridor. It once winked at Doudrop and spooked her out. And then my wife just burst out laughing. It was like, that's rubbish.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
I was like, yeah, it is a bit, really, it is. But I was like, I mean, I don't know why she still has it now.
This is it.
And so my wife said, like, why does she have it now? And I said, merchandise.
But
it sells loads.
Does it?
Yeah. Oh, dude, at SummerSlam a couple of years ago, that was like the hottest selling item.
A couple of years ago.
It was last year, in fact. Hottest selling item at SummerSlam last year.
That's a shame.
We got one.
Yeah, but that's...
Which we did buy as a joke.
This is it. It's like great. Selling loads of merchandise, good, nice for the bottom line. If it makes your character a joke, and Alexa Bliss is too good to be a joke. I'm sorry. She's one of the best performers they've got. She's a natural heel. She's an incredible villain. She's a good wrestler.
She's great. I thought she was awesome in this match.
I did too.
The match itself was fine.
Yeah, but
like
there were moments in there.
Good match, but I thought Bliss's selling of the knee, which they were working over, were actually really good. I thought her facial reactions to that were really good. And then we got some interference.
Yeah.
Of course we did, from Damage Control. And the Bayley won, and then they beat up Bliss after the match. My favourite moment of this entire show, though, however, was they beat down Bayley after this match. Asuka runs in to make the save.
Bianca.
No. Asuka runs in to make the save, still holding the Lily doll because Alexa gave her the Lily doll before the match started.
I missed that.
And then they beat her up while she was still holding the Lily doll. And then Io Sky gave her like this assisted moonsault while wearing the championship belt onto Asuka, and she was still holding Lily. And I was like, oh no, she's done the move to both of them now. Asuka held onto that doll for the entire match, including her own beatdown. Oh. She did more to get that character over than Alexa Bliss ever did.
I thought the whole show was leading to Alexa potentially joining Damage Control, or at least hinting that they might. And even when Bayley wins, I was a little bit hoping that it would be this, see, I told you, you used to be someone. Kind of give her some food for thought that maybe in a couple of weeks' time she'll join Damage Control. So the fact that they started the beatdown on her, I don't know, that maybe undercut that a little bit. But I did have a panic, because Bianca got some comeback, didn't she? She got a little bit of a... Yes. I had a panic that we were about to get Bianca and Friends standing tall again. But no, they committed, and Damage Control had the final. And then we get Bayley being like, hello, yes, Extreme Rules, please. Yeah. I want your little belt there. Thanks very much.
Yes, make the match for Extreme Rules. So we kind of run over time, so I do want to talk about the Alexa Bliss bits, however, though, because there are fan theories that Alexa is involved with the White Rabbits storyline.
Okay, yes.
During this match, there was like a dip of the lights, and the lights came back up. It looked like it was an error, so I don't know if that was part of it. The other thing that's one, and I think this might be, well, actually I love about this, is the fan reaching side of things, is that Alexa was selling her leg, and the leg was the only part of the body that was missing in the White Rabbit Hangman.
I did notice that.
Yeah. So I think that's actually a little bit of deliciousness. I don't know if that's just Alexa just like knowing that people will pick up on this sort of thing. But there is just like a bit of deliciousness there. Alexa's got ties to Bray Wyatt. If this is Bray, I want him far away from Alexa Bliss, because I think that Bray's character did so much damage to Alexa Bliss that she has struggled to recover from it.
Well, yeah.
And I think that she needs a hard reset of her character that is not involving this. So maybe it'll be great this time around. I don't know if that is involved, but I would rather keep them separate if it were me and I had the option. But I did think it was, worth bringing it up.
I know, but also it would be because the last time we saw Bray was Alexa taking him away. So, do you just want to? I mean, you could just ignore that if you wanted to ignore that.
I mean, as I said, in that video package, they just completely ignored all the Fiend stuff. So it felt like they weren't trying to connect those dots together. But who knows? But it was worth mentioning.
Curious. Anyway, love that leg touch. That's great.
I thought the show was 3 out of 5.
A good show. I personally felt it was a 2, but I have very high standards.
There's a chat on the review that just said if Ollie was reviewing the show, it'd be 5 out of 5. I said that to Ollie, and he was like, "It really wouldn't have." Let's get into the rest of your. Oh no, we've got some Patreon shout-outs to do first. Yeah. We're going to shout out some Patreon Pledgehammers over on patreon.com/WrestleTalk, where what a week you have had. You had early access to Monday Night What episode 2 of series 2 and mine and Pete's booking podcast that came out yesterday. And you've had the mailbag this week with me and Dan. You had the behind the scenes podcast last week. Tomorrow for $10 backers, After Dark, which will be myself, yourself, Abby, social media Abby, and Randy Andy Datson, going through anything you want us to talk about on our Patreon page. So that's going to be a wonderful time. And if you are Hall of Fame Music, one of our $25 and above Patreon Pledgehammers, you get your name shouted out on this show with a fun little nickname like these fine folks: the Superior Dinosaur, Tom Greatorex,
Tony Jabroni,
Vincent Charloki Garcia,
Vito Ventura, Pet Detective,
Willie Big E Singleton,
Zoe Sung 101,
the number one villain Nikolai Martinson,
Justin, the Human Godzilla Woostruck,
the voice of the ring Josh Roberts,
Hannah Abebe.
That's Hannah A. Baby.
Baby. Oh, I see. I went with Abebe. Works for me too, either way.
Shawn Michaels' biggest fan, Brett Guy.
Bishop Bada.
That is your Hall of Fame class for the 20th of September 2022. Thank you all so much for our Patreon Pledgehammers. We love each and every one of you. Reet, let's have some of your Ultrachats. Dan, would you like to start us off?
Do you know, I would. As soon as I've got it open here, I would.
Shall I go through the poll results?
Oh, yes. Actually, that's more important.
So, we did the poll results.
It's not.
Who is the White Rabbit? 72% of our audience think it is Bray. 10% think it's Karrion Kross, and 17% think it is other. Interesting. So, a lot of people leading towards Bray there.
Yeah.
More than I thought, in fact.
Yeah, I agree. I really had started to buy this Karrion thing, but you know, I guess we'll see. We'll find out more on Friday. Hannah Allen said, "Hello, lovely gent. It's funny. I usually have her on SmackDown on for background when doing stuff around the house, working out, etc. All right, check you out working out. I have it on when I'm lying there eating nachos. More so, Trips is running the show, and especially after some decent reviews from the people I trust the most. WrestleTalk and the community are more into these shows. I'm not fully committed to every second of the matches, but the storytelling, mwah! I'm finding I'm actually stopping and focusing in because I don't want to miss a thing. Lots of love. Hashtag jam that jam.
Just like Aerosmith.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't want to. I think of Aerosmith when I watch the show. But yeah, that's the thing. The sucking us in so that we're not missing a moment.
Exactly. Yeah. I
to come back.
I agree with Hannah there. Actually, is that I don't think every wrestling match that they do has been like a man, I can't take my eyes off of this product. But I do think that they have created a show that has made you keep your eye on it. It is like this was missable TV.
Yeah.
This was not must-see TV. Not every week of TV can be, though. I do want to stress that.
Something that we are missing that has stopped in a way that I'm thrilled about is I'm seeing a lot less of people just already standing in the ring ready for a nothing match.
Yes, absolutely.
And a lot more story.
The wrestling feels like it means more, but I think the in-ring style is still just it is egg white. It is off-white walls. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
You do it, when you move into a new build house,
yes,
everything is just painted like off-white, eggshell white. Yeah. It's just like because this is a color that everybody likes.
It's a bland,
it's a bland color.
Yeah,
I think you could do with a splash of paint on there.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like with some Raw matches.
I am also liking that everyone seems to be interlinked. Like we're seeing a lot more of people interacting with each other, like a lot of crossover, which is something that we missed. Charles Berg has been a member for 17 months in a row. The most important thing that happened yesterday, Dom called Rhea his mummy. He should use the Guerrero name and call Rhea his Mamacita.
Oh no, because Mamacita is someone he wants to bone. And
is that not the point? Corey was selling that hard.
No, he wants to just suckle on her. Rather
I don't need to say that ever again. I really didn't enjoy that. We'll just move on.
It just came out. I couldn't stop myself.
Yeah, no, it's a lot for me. I think I'm gonna need to not speak to you for another few days.
I'm getting prepped for WrestleTalk after dark.
Yeah, you really are. We've not even had anything to drink. Hawk Thoucast 823 says, first off, the highest of virtual high fives to you, Leak. For September 4th, 2020 will forever be the day we both said War Games would work on the main roster, despite Ollie disagreeing. We did it. We predicted the future. Oh yeah, Raw. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
I agree. Then also says, pretty sure I said September 4th, 2020 when I meant 2022. It was 2 weeks ago. My bad. Could you imagine if you're that level of Nostradamus back in 2020?
Hey.
But also to remember that you'd said that in 2020. Also, if anyone wants an idea of the Miz surrounded by minions, just play Zelda Majora's Mask and watch Link surrounded by Deku Scrubs in the first 5 minutes. I haven't played it.
That's a good game, that.
Yeah.
I mean, Majora's Mask is... It's no Ocarina of Time.
Very few things are.
Yeah, I mean, in the world of Zelda...
I've not played any Zelda.
No?
No.
I have a Zelda tattoo.
I've heard of Ocarina of Time, though. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it still means something.
I mean, look, my big controversial take within the Zelda fandom, I think Link's Awakening is the best Zelda game.
Huge, if true.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one that I've played the most. I think Link's Awakening is ace.
I think he's a good pick on Mario Kart. Ryan PR says, hey, yo. So, Rey Mysterio teamed up with a charismatic supporter of weed with a martial arts background and long hair. This feels familiar, dude. As for that Dominic heat, it fooled me into thinking he had charisma. Would love some breadsticks. That's the thing. Like, there was a moment where I was like, oh, interesting. This is going to be a vibe. Can he back it up? No. But, like, hopefully going on, he will. We'll see. You know, give him some more time.
Mm-hmm. I'll take over. Stevie Howland says, given the reaction Judgment Day got in their pre-match promo, who'd have thought they'd have needed that to get over was to add Dom?
It's just we've been looking for any reason. We really have.
Right, yeah, of course Dexter Lumis is a babyface. He abducted various co-workers, a bit of breaking and entering, random assaults from an unexpected location, has been married in ring. If he electrocutes a man's testicles, he's guaranteed Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And then maybe starts a sort of yoga app somewhere.
And he continues here. I fell in love with wrestling through the in-ring action, especially watching Brett and Owen. The crowd being super quiet while the Pete Dunne version of Butch and Montez Ford were in the ring made me sad. In other news, you guys are fantastic.
Oh, thanks, mate. I think it's just something where people need to get used to seeing these people. I think it's a slow burn with getting used to the Triple H era. People perhaps are not used to seeing this. Casual Raw fans I'm talking about are not used to seeing this length of match and this quality of match. Once people see it, I fully believe quality will out. That's how I feel.
Hawk the Outcast 823, last one from me. Dominic had nuclear heat, and I love it. The only thing I got annoyed was the backup. He looked at Rhea and said, I have a new mammy now. Face palm. She's your pappy. You've got one line.
I think you saw it as well from her.
Yes, she was like,
all right, I'm your mummy this week, but I'll give you a bit of a deck off camera and you'll remember next time.
Moron, you've got
working really hard at
this. Al Kurtalatri says, Bobby Lashley is a tough watch. He's a really good wrestler, except that he cannot sell an injury. Last week he got attacked by Miz and Ciampa before the cage match, and 5 minutes in he was like, lol, what arm injury? He just can't work them.
You're having it in the match as well.
Chris said, I'm really into this White Rabbit stuff. You see, there was a red circle around the hourglass, which is very Bray. And as you know, I'm ready for Alexa to do something. A dark reunion. Alexa reunion with Bray is anything. Corey is awful. Jam that jam.
Corey's better than Byron. I want Byron gone. Byron can't act.
Corey is at least the only person that recognizes that Dexter Lumis is a threat.
And here, can I do an impression? Can I do my Byron Saxton impression?
Please do.
That's it.
Very good.
And it's dead on. You know what I'm talking about.
Tails P. The weird thing is, usually the invader is the face. Triple H throws Randy through the home.
He did do that, yeah.
Triple H throws Randy through the home window. Face. Sammy breaks into a gym. Face. Austin does anything. Face. Also, I thought the White Rabbit was Ali, but it could stand for Playboy and Mina Maria and Mike return.
Imagine if this is all building up to Maria and Mike Kanellis. I'm sure.
Charles Berg, well, my vacations got even more excellent. Yesterday, I went to a casino with $400, channeled the energy of Baron and oh, baby, it was Corbin time. Left the casino with $1,500. Slot decided to give me $900, and I made the rest playing blackjack.
A slot gave you $900?
I'm not a gambling man.
Yeah, but I mean, fair play.
Jacob Nelson said, popped onto the stream and literally said, oh, nice, it's Dan. Figured that was worth a $5.
Do you want to be my friend?
And lastly, Bishop Badass here said, oh, this is funny. I paid to become a Pledgehammer on the 9th. I was just curious, when do I get my wrestling name?
There you go.
You are on this very show, my friend. Although it looks like you just got Bishop Badass. We should really give you an extra one on that. So should we come up with what should we do for Bishop Badass? Come on, Dan, you come up with a cool wrestling nickname for Bishop Badass.
Archbishop Badass of Canterbury. How's that?
You could at least done Badass Bishop of Banterbury.
I was on the spot, Luke. I'm still recovering from you saying suckling on Rhea's.
At least I stopped myself.
You did, thank goodness.
I did. I'll just say suckle on her nose.
That was horrible. I'm sorry. I immediately apologize.
That is all we've got time for on this edition of the Raw Review.
I think it's important that it is all we've got time for, to be honest with you.
Thank you all so much for listening. We will see you on Thursday for the AEW Dynamite review. Myself and Ollie Davis will be talking about a new AEW World Champion. Will it be Bryan Danielson? Will it be Jon Moxley? Will it be MJF? Who knows? We'll find out once we watch Dynamite tonight. Nope, tomorrow even.
Yeah.
God, I'm not with it at the moment.
It's the Queen.
It's the Queen's thrown me off. The Queen.
Oh, I just heard. I came as soon as I heard.
Anywho, thank you so much for watching. Please do consider checking out this episode's sponsor, beer52.com/WrestleTalk. Get yourself 8 free craft beers on us. It's a fabulous service. They've sponsored us for many, many years, and we absolutely adore beer52.com. So please, please, please go and click the link. Get yourself a crate of craft beer. It supports us really massively if you do that. So we would really, really appreciate it if you do. The all you got to do is pay for that sweet ass postage and packaging. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you on Thursday for the AEW Dynamite review. Jam that jam. I've been Logan. That's Professor Dan Layton.